Alright, we're here today with Marcus TV with Apollo, publisher of Racing World magazine. I'm going to ask you a few questions. Where do you see the future of racing in Hong Kong going?
Well, at the moment, Hong Kong is what I call an international racing centre, whereby we've got imports from Australia, New Zealand, England and Ireland, virtually everywhere around the world.
Yeah.
And our vision is to strengthen not only the number of racehorses into Hong Kong, but improve further in terms of quality. That's why a lot of our owner members, they would love to go overseas to shop around, not against Gay Waterhouse or that sort of thing for the stayers, but we'll be looking for a lot of sprinters, milers and all that to enrich our Hong Kong horse population.
Yeah. And what impact on the Hong Kong racing industry do you think the potential development of racing in China would have?
Well, put it this way, at the moment, the development of racing in China is still at a very amateur stage, right? There have been racing centres here, there, everywhere.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call their standard up to professional level. I'd say it will take time, and it will take, a conceptual change regarding their overall racing policy.
Yeah.
Because as at this point in time, no gambling is allowed.
No.
Right? And the thing is, the development of racing is only restricted to some horses who are, of lesser quality or horses which, in a way that they are not up to international competitive level. But I'd say in the long run, China can be back to their glorious days. Because remember, racing in China has had its glorious days in the 19th century, whereby they got racing centers like Tianjin, like Beijing, and all that. So it will take time. It will take a conceptual change, but it will be there.
Yeah. And what do you think the Australian racing industry can learn from Hong Kong and vice versa?
Well, in a way that Australia, of course, is a very, very it's a racing centre itself. Sorry, can you ask the question again?
Yeah. What can Australian racing industry learn from Hong Kong and vice versa?
Mm-hmm. Well, in fact, Hong Kong has a lot to learn from Australia, because in Australia there are a lot of top-class trainers, right? Like Hayes, like Waterhouse, right? Like Moody and all that, who's been bringing a lot of top guns internationally around the world, and also bringing top horses from other parts of the world and training successfully in Australia. In Hong Kong, of course, there are still a lot of good trainers, but in a way that, a lot of these trainers, if they can further improve their skills in bringing horses overseas to successfully win Group 1 races, of course, owners will be more happy. Also, from a Hong Kong perspective, we would also like, Australian trainers to communicate further or effectively with local Hong Kong trainers on various aspects of training. Because Hong Kong, as you know, is training in a very restricted environment. All horses are boxed within the Sha-Tin stables and all that, difficult to train. But however, some methodologies are applicable over in Australia. They can exchange the ideas. Or alternatively, for Hong Kong to learn more from Australia is, what if in the long run the new training center over in China, come to think of it, a lot of these facilities are similar to those in Australia.
Yeah.
Maybe some local trainers may not have the knowledge in using those facilities, or this is the best way. Effective communication between the two parties can enable them to make good use of the new facilities in the upcoming years.
And what pathway would you recommend for a Marcus Oldham graduate to enter the Hong Kong racing industry?
Well, I'd say in a way that there are two ways. Yeah. Firstly, if a Marcus Oldham graduate can go to top local stables to
locally,
local stables to undergo their traineeship or apprenticeship. They may have opportunities to accompany their horses to go over to Hong Kong during the international races, or probably for some sales companies not necessarily stables, but for sales companies or something like that, they may be able to bring some sales forces to Hong Kong for the Hong Kong sale. We've seen some of your graduates accompanying some of those sales forces into Hong Kong.
Yes.
Yeah. Alternatively, to apply straight into Hong Kong, of course, there are some vacancies from time to time. And we've seen a lot of Australian people to go over to Hong Kong to work as riding boys, to care for those horses with great temperament and everything, and to help in educating horses in their various manners and all that. So there are various aspects or various roles that Marcus Owen graduates can do. You can start from local, or if you've got some expertise already, you can apply direct to the Hong Kong Club. And of course, some of them, I mean, in Hong Kong, there are quite a few Aussie journalists. Say, Alan Aiken used to be in Sydney. Well, he's been working very well over in Hong Kong, right? And we've also seen the Aussie Patrick Allen, who's been working in Hong Kong for a few years now. He's coming back to Australia. But I'd say different roles in Hong Kong can suit graduates of Marcus Owen.
Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.